beginning of an incredible journey into the world of coding and collaboration. Whether you are in first year or second year or beyond, there is something here for everyone. So we'll kick things off by exploring the world of open source software. This incredible movement allows developers from all backgrounds to collaborate, innovate, and share their creations in the world. And next, we'll dive into version control software, particularly Git and GitHub. Um, and we have our entire team of CodeTogether here with us. And we also have our esteemed guest speakers who will share great insights with you. So, yeah, I am Rajarshi Nath, the CP Associate of CodeTogether, and I welcome you all to this amazing session hosted by our club. And I encourage all of you to ask questions and make the most out of this session. Okay, so let's dive in and let's go together.
Okay, so guys, I am Prabhuta Chatterjee, your app dev lead. So anyone knows what is open source or what it's called? You can just raise your hand. We will unmute you guys to say. Rinjay or Rajashree or Vaibhav? Anyone?
No.
Anyone raising hands? कोई बताना चाहता है what is open source? मतलब चीज क्या होता है open source?
Yes or no? You may unmute.
Where anyone can, someone can contribute in a project.
Okay, nice. And anything else? Anyone?
Somjit Roy, you can.
Feel free, guys. हम लोग सब दोस्त हैं.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, I think that open source is different from proprietary software in the sense that we can see the source code.
Yeah, it's very good answer.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, nice. So you can simply say that like open source is like a recipe. Okay. So, but instead of keeping it secret, we have freely shared it. And the source code is available on the internet where you can see, you can access it, you can modify it, you can collaborate with different peoples who have built that project and contribute there. And obviously, all the softwares that are made in open source, they are basically free. So what is accessibility means? The code is readable and available for anyone to download and explore. Okay. So you can just go and find on internet. So we will tell specifically where on the internet. I think most of you guys know, like GitHub, all of you know, I think. So we will be diving into GitHub also. And what does modifiable means? Modifiable means simple that you can contribute. You can like change a simple icon or a new algorithm for a company. Okay. So anyone knows which company is this? Anyone? Anyone raise your hand?
Your voice is not clear.
Linux.
Am I audible? Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, it's clear. It's clear.
हाँ मतलब ये जो लोगो दिखाई दे रहा है मेरा
Anurag, you said
लेजर
right.
हाँ मेरा लेजर पॉइंटर दिखाई दे रहा है सबको हाँ तो what is this company? ये कंपनी पेंगुइन वाला ये कौन सा कंपनी है?
Linux.
Nice. So is Linux open sourced or closed sourced? मतलब लिनक्स का जो ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम का जो कोड है is it open source or is it closed sourced?
Yes,
Open
you're
source.
right. It's open source.
Open source.
Open source. Okay, that means you can think like a whole operating system, its whole code base is there available. You just have to go and understand how everything is working. Like you can learn. It's not like a secret that how it is working. It's available for free. So there are many softwares that are open source, like MySQL, Python. This is Blender. This is MongoDB. and much more. Okay, so Git, we will get into that. So Git itself is open source, which helps in contribution of open source. So now the question is, why is open source important? Okay, so there is a meme of Gadaka why should we learn open source? So you can get remote job opportunities and bounties. So it's like bounty hunter. Have you heard about bounty hunting? Anyone? मतलब क्या करते हैं बाउंटी हंटिंग में? करते क्या है? गोली चलाते हैं.
गाइस तुम लोग बोल सकते हो, हम लोग डांटेंगे नहीं, ठीक है?
हाँ हाँ, मतलब feel free. तो बाउंटी हंटिंग मतलब कोई चीज के लिए लाइक इट्स कोई अमाउंट सेट किया जाता है, जो उसको सॉल्व करता है तो उसको बाउंटी मिलता है, कुछ एक्स अमाउंट ऑफ अमाउंट मिलता है. So that is a good way of earning in college life. Also, remote job opportunities if you have contributed in famous repositories. Repository means the project that is open sourced. So if you contribute in famous repositories, you can get job opportunities. You can learn industry standard code base. The code you write in your VS Code on your daily basis is far more different than the industry based standards. So industry standard code is clear, crisp, efficient, you can tell. Also, it teaches you how to collab with other software engineers. You're not alone, right? And to build a big company, like suppose let's take an example of Linux. Linux is a very big project. Okay, so project, it is basically a project or operating system. So you can't alone write Linux code. You need support. So you have to learn how to work in a team, in a software engineering team. You know how to work in a friendly team. Like मैं कुछ दोस्त ले लेता हूँ, तू ये करेगा, तू वो करेगा. But in software or professional fields, you have to learn how to collaborate with people, how to talk, how to behave, how to add your contributions. So we will teach that, and also increase visibility in tech community, and you can land a referral. Okay, so like remote job opportunity, land referral. So okay, so let's get a quick time for quiz. Srinjoy can share the Google form link. You guys can click the Google form and you can fill the answer. You will get around 2 minutes, and after that we won't be taking any responses. Hello,
Everyone
Srinjoy.
got the link? I have pinned the link in the chat.
Vaibhav, after 2 to 3 minutes, please close the response.
Okay.
Response with the thumbs up or hand raising if you have done. So that or chat +1 so that we can know that you guys have filled up the form. Vaibhav, are responses coming?
Yes, of course they are coming.
Okay, nice. So how much
And-
time is left?
Let's just say about 30 seconds.
Okay. भाई चैट जीपीटी मत करना, गूगल भी मत करना. जो फर्स्ट आएगा उसको क्वेश्चन पूछूंगा.
Prabhupada, I think many of them have some questions, so maybe you can take that now too.
Yeah, sure. If anyone have any questions regarding this part, you can. If you are shy, you can just put your
You
question.
don't have
in
to
Q&A.
raise your hands. You
can
don't have
just
to
put
raise
your
your
question
hands.
in Q&A.
You can put it in chat or Q&A, or you can open the mic and you can speak. You don't have to raise your hands. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Now I am ending the quiz. Hope everyone gave responses.
Okay, so we will tell who is first, second, third at the last. Okay, so stay with us. Okay, so I would like to call Saket, your web dev lead, to continue from here.
Okay. Thank you, Prabodh. I am Saket Sastha, and I will be continuing from here. You have heard about what is source, what are the importance of open source. So, how can we start contributing in open source? So, this is the basic flow which we will be using for contributing in any open source, like any open source. Okay. So, the process is version control, then Git, then GitHub. So, as my friend said, all the repos are in the GitHub because repo is just the project folder, you can say, where all codes of your project is been there, and you need to overwrite it or change some modifications or something. So your question must be, what is version control? And I'm sure your thesis would be, what is version control? How do I know it? Okay, so let's take a quick review about it. Imagine you are working on a project, whether it's a solo task or with a team. You are constantly making changes to your code, testing new features, or fixing bugs. Now, think about what happens if you suddenly need to go back to a previous version of your project, or if someone else of your team accidentally overwrites your work. These kind of challenges can turn a simple project into a nightmare, especially when working with multiple people, right? So this is where version control comes in. It allows you to keep track of every change made to your project, so you don't need to lose your work and can always go back to previous version if necessary. With version control, not only you can manage your project efficiently, but it also makes it much easier for team to collaborate without stepping on each other's toes, right? Okay, so please change the slide. What is Git? To make version control work, we use a tool called Git, and Git helps for open source, and Git is also open source. Git allows you to manage all the changes in your project locally on your computer. It helps you track changes, create branches for new features, and manage them back to Git when they are ready. Git acts as a backbone of version control, you can say. Okay, so can you back to previous slide? Okay, so here is a meme. In case of fire, git commit, git push, and get out. So if you don't know about it, let me tell you. Git commit is a basic command. Okay, so we will be considering these commands. We will be having a workshop on it. So git commit is a command to commit all the changes. So this is a poster or pamphlet kind of is posted on the walls of any software company, so that in case of fire, what we know, in case of fire we just leave the building, but in case of fire we need to git commit, git push, and get out. Means we need to first commit our codes, then we need to push them in the branch, then we can get out, means we can get out of the building. Okay, so this is just a meme. Okay, now we can go to the next slide. What is GitHub? Okay, so before moving to the GitHub, can anyone tell me which company is the parent company of GitHub? Which company is parent company of GitHub?
Microsoft.
Yes, right. Microsoft is the parent company of GitHub. Okay. So basically, now the question is, why do we use GitHub? What is the main purpose of it? So GitHub is a code hosting platform for collaboration and version control. Uh, if you are working solo or you are working with your team, we can just put our project folder in GitHub, and any one of your team member can access all the files, all the branches of codes of the repo, and can start working on anything. Okay, so it is used to keep your project folders, and GitHub is also used to deploy your codes. And here you can see that multiple users can clone a repo from the GitHub and work locally, and then he can add some modifications and push it into the branch. So that's it about GitHub. Next slide, please. Okay, so it's a quick quiz time. Our team member will be sending the
Srinjoy,
link in
okay, nice.
chat.
Yeah, I have sent
Like
and
your time starts now.
Okay.
I hope lot of them have joined after the first quiz.
Okay, no worries about that. We will check it out. If you have any question about version control, Git or GitHub, you can directly ask to me, or you can raise your hand, whatever you want.
Just a reminder, in case of any doubt, you can unmute yourself and ask, or you can write in the chat. Anything works. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
sure. Anyone feel free to unmute yourself and talk. Okay. I mean, not talk like rubbish. Ask questions.
Okay, 30 seconds more for the quiz, everyone.
Vaibhav, you can take like little screenshots.
Yes, I will. Okay, time's up.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's all for my part.
Okay, now
Now,
Rajashree.
yes, Rashid, please introduce our speakers.
Okay. So now we have our esteemed guest speakers, Sawan Bhattacharya, the CEO of Keyshade, and Rajdip Bhattacharya, the CTO of Keyshade. So I will ask you guys to share your special insights about tech. On to you guys.
Yeah, hey guys, hey, I'm Sawan Bhattacharya, the CEO of Keyshade, and we are basically building a secret sharing and configuration management software. So I just wanted to be an interactive session. So I just want to know how many of you guys have worked with .env files before. You can just put a +1 in the chat if you guys have. Mm. Okay, I don't see a lot of interaction, so I don't think you guys are
I
ready to
think you can explain what's the purpose of .env
Cool,
file.
cool. So basically, we use
Store the
.env
password.
files. Sorry.
.env file is used to store the codes, the password, private codes, like in GitHub, the API key, the Google ID, Google ID, etc. is stored in the .env file.
Yep, exactly. And we usually do that so that we don't have to push our secrets to the Git. And if we do that, what can happen is the attackers can literally go through your code base and they can hack your databases. So at Keyshade, we are building a solution which is going to prevent you from doing this, and we are kind of using a cryptographic algorithm called ECC. So we're using that to make it more secure. Now, I just want to add some things that I think the previous speaker missed before. So there are so one thing you guys need to know, that is all the open all the code bases, all the repositories that you see on GitHub are not all of them are open source. So there are two kinds of things. One is an open source software and another is an open code. So there are many companies like cal.com, and then you have InPhysical, right? So they what they have is they have a open code software. So what makes a software truly open source? So the licensing is the thing that makes it open source. So a true open source software means that you can freely use it and redistribute it and modify it. Right? But in case of the other open code solutions, you can't really modify and redistribute the code. So that is technically illegal. So this is something that you guys have to keep in mind while working with open source projects, but that doesn't mean that you can't contribute to those projects. And let's talk about some opportunities that this open source ecosystem brings. So recently, we are also hiring for interns. So we prefer students who have mostly contributed to a repo because they have a better understanding of how we work, what we are working on, how the code base look like, and we know like what kind of code do they write. So just like us, many other open source companies also, they hire based on the open source contributions. For example, like one of my friends, Advaita, they were contributing to a project called Nimbus, and which is a consensus layer client for Ethereum, and they got hired, and they have a pretty hefty package. So open source contribution gives you a lot of insight about how a company works and how do they operate, how you collaborate with a huge team, and these are the insights that are very important for any developers to be just a developer to a great developer. So this is what you guys have to do. So for the other technicalities of how to maintain a project and all, I would ask Rajdip to take over and bring it on.
Also, guys, I think most of you don't know, but Sawan Bhattacharya is our senior. He is 2024 pass out, and Rajdip Bhattacharya is 2025 pass out. So they are our alumni. So I think let's make this a little bit podcast typey. Okay, so yeah, that will be more interesting, I think.
Switch the years.
Let's talk about when you were in your first year. So what was your take to the open source community was? So how did you came around to know about open source community and open source?
Okay, so when I was in like when so at my time there was lockdown, right? And I was like giving my board exams, and that time I came across Kunal Kushwa, right? And then I get to know that you have a thing called open source. So then I made my own GitHub account. I looked into it, and then I reached out to some folks. One of them were a senior developer at Google. I talked with him. I asked him how can I contribute to open source, and he gave me a contact of another guy. His name is Kumar Shuvendu, and they were having a open source event kind of thing. It's called FOSSAT. So what it basically was, it was more like a GSOC event, it was kind of a GSOC event kind of thing. So I contributed to it. I got my very first stipend of 5,000 rupees, and which was amazing. And that is how I get into open source. And actually, Rajdip is a very active open source contributor, so I think we should get his insights.
Yeah, we should bring Rajdip on spotlight. Rajdip.
Yep. Hi everyone. Yep. Thanks for having me over in this in this event. Okay. First things first. You switched the years, I'm the 24 pass out and Sawan is the 25 pass out. Anyways,
Oh, sorry. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
no worries on that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would start with all the questions that you asked Sawan and also like answer them as well. So in my first year, I didn't know anything about if I say like coding. So I just knew basic Java because I'm an ICSE student, so I just knew basic Java back then. So at that time we had the lockdown, so we didn't go to college, and then it was like 2 years that we sat at our homes. So I kind of talked with my elder brother who is also in IT. So he suggested me to do some projects. Okay, learn DBMS and then make some very basic tabular data storage applications and things like that. So that's how I kind of got started. And then slowly I grew my stack. I started learning things. I stepped into web development, and I started as backend. Okay, I didn't start with front end because I never was you know uh, an imaginative guy, if I put it right. So I always wanted to work with the brains of how things worked rather than
You
how they
always
look.
want to be the backbone of a company.
Kind of, yeah. Anyways, so yeah, so that's how I kind of started. Okay, and then kind of like things started falling into place. So once my college started, I got too much engrossed in that. Okay, so my studies and then my new friends and late night gaming sessions, so I did it
Yeah.
all. Okay, I took all of the routes that a spoiled brat would take, did all of that, and then I finally picked up my pace again. Like I told myself, like this isn't going to work. Okay, so by the end of the second year, I buckled up. Okay, I started learning JavaScript. I learned React JS, and then I mean, I was hunting for an internship. Okay, so I think that's how I got my first internship. Okay, as a React developer, and
Nice.
also and my first stipend was 3,000. Okay,
Okay, nice.
that
That's
was
huge
really
for
nice.
a first, second year student.
Yep. So I had my semesters and also my first internship offer letter at the same time. So that was really difficult for me. Anyway, so that's how I kind of started with my career. And then now I fully tend to backends. Okay, I just dropped front end development in my first internship. Okay, so that's my first and last time working as a front end developer, and I never worked in front end anytime uh, after that. Anyway, so
So I hope
uh,
this question doesn't put too much pressure on your memory. So can you remember your first open source commit? Which repo or which company was it, or which repository was it?
yes, I was just coming to that. Anyway, so
Okay, sure, yeah.
yeah, I don't remember exactly well, but I mean, I started building my projects on GitHub, but that doesn't count as an open source contribution. So I think my first my first attempt was on during Hacktoberfest. Okay, I don't
Okay,
remember the year, maybe 22 or maybe 21, I guess. I don't remember.
I see.
So I just got to know about, there's a thing called open source development, and then there are the school events that go on. So I googled Hacktoberfest. I got to know what happens in I mean, what's the way of doing things. Okay, but then again, I mean, all I knew back then was Java. Okay, and there's no way that I was going to contribute to a Java repository because, if you know Java and then you want to contribute to a Java repository, then you'd need to know advanced Java. Okay,
Yeah,
and
sure. It's
that's very difficult. Okay, that's very difficult for anyone. Okay, to understand. So I dropped the idea. Okay, I thought, like, let's start with something small. So I just wanted to grab the concepts. So I think I made my first contribution to some kind of a algorithms repository or something like that. I think that's banned.
okay.
Okay, that's banned in Hacktoberfest from the previous year. Okay,
From previous year.
yeah,
I I
Yeah.
I, I think you guys used to get like T-shirts from Hacktoberfest.
Yeah. Now
yeah,
they don't
yeah,
give
we
it.
did.
Now they have closed it.
Even right now, I'm even wearing a Hacktoberfest t-shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I was
So,
wearing as well.
like, okay, Savanda, can you remember your first open source commit?
Yeah. So it was on a browser extension. So
Browser extension, okay. For
yes,
Chrome,
so
Chrome extension, right?
yeah, it was a Chrome extension. So what
Nice, nice.
they were building was they were building a activity tracker. So what it was supposed to do is it was supposed to get all the things, like all the activities from your browser and your phone and the whole computer itself, and then give you an overall estimation on like how much time you spend on what, like as a whole, like not only in one
Okay.
platform but as a whole. Right? And surprisingly, that was my first time writing JavaScript, so I didn't know a shit. So I had to ask a lot of queries to the contributors, like how to do stuff and all. They were really good, so they helped me a lot. And then I get to know what JavaScript is, how JavaScript works.
Okay, so
Yeah,
people out here are like confused. What are the prerequisites to start open source? What are the things you need to know to get into or dive into open source?
at first, I
You
would
can
say
share your experience, like what are the things you learned and
uh,
how you use them to contribute your first open source.
so. If you want to be a like very useful open source contributor, then the very first thing you should know is a language that you're good at. Maybe you are good at Kotlin or maybe TypeScript or something, and you should look for projects who are building on those languages. And the second thing you should know is Git. So Git is a version controlling system that was built by Linus Torvald, basically the founder and creator of Linux. And so Git is not just a single version controlling system, but there are other version controlling systems too, which like other companies use. So Facebook have their own version controlling system. So yeah, Git is something that you must know, and any other kind of language. And so if you're a new open source contributor, you should start looking for the good first issues. So good first issues are the issues which are easy, and like any
Yeah,
newbie
like they are
can.
like
Yeah,
tags given to different issues.
exactly. So one thing I can do is I can share the good first issues of Keyshade, and people can have a look at it. So they'll have a better clarity
Yeah,
on.
you can share your screen.
Cool. So okay, should I share my screen? Cool.
Yeah, sure, you can.
I don't think I have the permission to.
Wait a minute. I
Okay,
am
cool.
solving the problem. Just a second,
Sure.
and yeah, here you go.
Cool. Okay, so where is the tab? So I'm using my company mail, so my account is not logged in here. Let me share my screen. Just give me a mail. Like, I'm having some issues with my computer,
Okay, no
like,
problem.
with this browser.
Okay, you keep setting up. So
Yeah,
till that
I
time,
mean,
Rajdip can talk.
sure. Yep. Totally.
Yep, sure.
So,
Works fine.
so
Anyways,
how
yeah, go on.
you talked about your job? Okay, so internship. So was it your
Mhm.
first remote internship, right?
Yep, I have been working remotely ever since. Okay, even I mean, where that
I
started.
mean, we both had so.
Yep,
So
I
it's like
mean,
getting a good comfy chair and sitting there and just contributing and earning money.
don't forget the belly fat, please.
Yeah, really pet. That's
I even have to join gym because I was having some issues, right? Like some medical issues. So
so
yeah, I
That
like
mean, there are pros and
what's the
cons.
difference ratio of scopes in open source and remote work versus traditional internship job and on-site, or like not on-site, like traditional way of finding a job versus open source and remote work. So
mm,
can you
mm.
please
Yep, sure.
talk about?
Yeah, I think I can totally give a view on that. Okay, so look, there's nothing as traditional internship. Okay, I mean, it can be remote, it can be at office, it can be hybrid, doesn't matter. Okay, all that matters is if you are learning in that period and also working with a team, building a real product, and not just joining those 1 month internships and then paying them to get your certifications done. So that's not an
Those
internship.
are
Okay.
scams. I'm not talking
Yep.
about those. I am talking about
Hmm.
like getting and genuine internship, maybe in a startup or in a well-established company. So going traditional way, I mean like going to their career portal, finding for internship openings, and then applying there, versus
I would
doing some
like to take
open
this
source
one.
contribution, getting yourself into the spotlight, and then trying to find a remote job. Okay, and also the thing is, not all companies host their software open source.
Yes.
That's a big point.
Yes, exactly. Okay, Sawan wanted to say something.
Yeah. So you can take the open source part. I can take the traditional part here. Like I can explain in the traditional part.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
sure. So Rajdip, the
Okay.
first you can go, right?
All right. So, if I talk about the open source part, then of course, I mean, the first thing that you need to ensure is that the company that you want to apply, okay, or maybe you want to be a part of, okay, that's open source. Okay, there at least a section or at least one product of theirs is open sourced. Okay, be it a library, be it an SDK, whatever, be it the entire application, something needs to be open sourced. Okay, so that you can actually start contributing to that. In this case, okay, I'll put up my examples. Okay, so I put up quite a few contributions to a company called Shelf. Okay, that's based out of I guess Netherlands. Okay, so yep. So I did a lot of work with them. Okay, with those people. Okay, but unfortunately they were not hiring. Okay, I won't say that I started contributing them for money or anything. Okay, even though the initial conception was so, because I mean I used to do bounty hunting, so that's something I did.
Yeah.
So that's from where I got
So,
the.
which website you use to find your bounty hunting?
There is a platform called Algora. .io.
Can
I'm
you
dropping the
drop
link.
it in the? Okay, nice.
Uh,
Algora.io.
Yep.
Okay.
So, anyways, I mean, don't spam this website, please. Okay.
No.
So, so yeah, I got the I mean, their I got to know about them from this website. Anyways, so I did a few, I mean, just one or two, I guess. Okay, one or two bounties for them, and then I started contributing, like towards the core of their backend. So
Okay.
making changes that were not in bounties or anything. Okay, and
I
I
see.
didn't expect anything from. I mean, in return, all I wanted was to experience what it's like
The
to
core focus was on learning,
learning
learning
learning and
development.
also
Yeah,
learning and also working in a team. Okay, I mean, you get to work directly with the CTO
yeah. That
for
experience,
Shell. Yep.
experience.
Yeah, so that's the way he manages the things. I mean, I would say that at Keyshade, okay, the way that I manage the PRs, the repository, I would put like 60 to 70% of the contribution to that guy who actually verified my PRs. Okay, the CTO of Shelf.
Yeah,
So I mean, the way he did things, the way he organized, and the way he behaved with every contributor that came to their platform, that was something that you never get to experience in, like whenever you join a job or something. Okay,
I
so
see.
that's something because you get to work directly with the higher management, and then there's
Okay.
no
So,
BS involved. Okay.
on the traditional path.
Okay. So for the traditional path, the best approach I would say to look for companies who is getting funding and all. So one thing you can do is you can go to the VC's website and they have a place called
Okay,
portfolio.
the VC, please, terminology alert.
Okay, got it. So VC is basically venture capitalist, and what does it mean is, so there are a bunch of people who put their money together and they make a money pool, and they seek for other companies in which they can put the money in for equity. And so this is basically, you can think of it as a stock, but without the IPOs and all. So this is
Okay,
what
so like
VCs
VCs are
does. They
people
basically
who
give
put
funding.
monies into
Yeah.
companies or startups
Yes.
rather.
Yes. So I mean, this is one way of going. You look into all the VCs and like look for jobs. Another thing you can do is you can connect to people. So let's say you are looking to join a company and you don't see any positions available there. So one thing you can do is you can just go to LinkedIn, drop them a connection request, tell them what you are, what you want from them, and you can ask for a referral. And they won't scold you for referrals because in the big companies they give referral bonus, which is a lot. So I know a company who give a referral bonus of around $500, I suppose. So it's a like lot of money. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, this is one way you can do. And the other way is make your own connections. You go and talk to real people. You go and attend events, because I would say that like most of the jobs I got was mostly through reference, because I have a very like strong connection of people.
Okay.
And having a good connection is very important as an individual too. So
Yeah.
one thing you guys
So
have to do
building
is make,
connections and referrals and talking with people, networking with
yeah,
people. So that helps a
yeah,
lot.
yes. But the most important thing is skill sets. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
guys must
That's
have to
like
work on the
the
skill set.
backbone. That's skill
Yeah,
set and learning.
yes. Because see, if you have a poor resume and if you like send it to someone, so they will definitely not refer you, because I mean it
Yeah,
looks bad, right? Let's say you refer to someone and they don't perform well. It doesn't look good. So the very first thing you have to do is you have to make your resume right. You have to put contribution. So let's say you don't have any internships currently. So what you can do is you can start contributing on to projects which are like good, which are big. And if you have some good contributions, they will know what kind of code you write, what kind of guy you are as a programmer. So that is very important. So I mean, I think you can ask more questions to Rajdip, because I got a call, so I have to pick it up.
so now coming on to Rajdip da. So like most people make terrible mistake when first committing to their open source journey. What are some mistakes you did, and you like want to say that don't do these things as a first year? Try to avoid them.
Okay. I mean, I I won't say that they were mistakes, but rather they were the outcome of not knowing things. Okay, so I would put it like that. And there are other people also whom I've noticed that make the same. I don't know. Maybe the shortcomings. Okay, so things are pretty common. Okay, I mean it's
Mm.
not something very insulting or something very bothering to anyone. Okay, so the things I mean I would like to put to highlight is people dive into open source to just get a contribution done. Okay, which is
Yeah,
bad.
yeah,
All right. So, I mean, in my opinion, now that I have done this thing, okay, I have done this thing before, so I know for myself that I shouldn't have done that. Okay, because I just wanted to get a contribution done. So that's not something very
yeah. Like
good.
it's so bad. We want a
Mm.
contribution to so people.
Yeah, exactly. So I just wanted to get a PR merge, and I
Yeah,
mean
yeah,
that's
yeah,
not good.
yeah.
Um, so that's something. The other thing I would say is when you are contributing, the first thing that you should do is go through the docs. Every repository maintains their own set of documentation about setting up the code, running it locally, developing it, and even some repositories they also include the commit message guidelines. Okay, even though there is a thing called commit lint. I forgot the name. Someone knows it. I
Yeah,
forgot that.
it was commitment.
Okay, so yeah, so there's something that's like the guidelines for committing. Okay, like committing your changes, the message that you give in your commits.
Mm.
So that has a guideline. Okay, so
Yeah,
most of
so
the repositories follow that.
mm,
But
yeah, so
sorry.
this thing that Rasid is talking about is called a conventional commit message.
Hmm.
And so basically it has a structure of so what kind of changes you're doing, what is the
Hmm.
scope of the change, and a short reading about what you have done.
Yes. Yes, exactly. So yeah, that's something. Okay. So many people, they forget to give this commit messages. Okay. Even though it doesn't matter that much, because ultimately when your PR gets merged, we can always change that commit message. Okay. There are ways to do that. Okay. That doesn't matter much, but then I mean, of course, you should be knowing this because it's good practice. Then there is a thing of I mean, I didn't do this, but I did notice it, so I think it's good to put this up. So I've seen people who, I mean, spam the maintainers. Okay,
Yeah.
you know, maybe it's genuine. Okay, I mean, I'm not saying that they're spamming like um, senseless things. No, they are like they are texting you for about genuine concerns. Okay, so maybe they are not able to set up their code. Maybe it's something that they have followed the docs, but then still they were not able to set their code up. But then what they do, I mean, the mistake that they do is, and mind it, I'm using the term mistake. The mistake that they do is they continuously keep messaging the maintainers. Okay, I mean, you need to understand that this person that you are messaging, he has got other things to do in that same project as well. Okay, like there are other contributors to that project itself, and most of this happens when there is some event going on. So last time in FOSSHAC, we participated in FOSSHAC. Okay, so we got a few contributors who would just spam us. Okay, regarding anything that they would face, and most of them would not even read through the docs. Okay, so we would have to just keep sending the links. Okay, of the same links to everyone. Okay, and honestly we didn't know why. So that's something that you need to look out. Okay, so most of the questions that you have in your mind are already answered by someone. Okay, in the forum, in Discord and GitHub discussions. Okay, a simple search will bring it up. Most of the things that you might face are covered in the documentations. Okay, and then
Okay.
even if you can't figure out what's happening, or you might need some help, then just drop a text to the maintainer over Discord or whatever channel they're using, or GitHub issues or GitHub discussions, and they will come back to you. Okay, even if not immediately, but they will come back. Okay, that's a certainty that you always have. Yep,
I
that's the
see. I see.
discussion tab.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Savanda was presenting something to show you all.
Yes. So I would like to show you how can you like solve your very first issue. So how to find your very first issue, right?
Hmm.
So what you can do is in any GitHub repo, there is a section called issues. You can go there. And there is a thing called label. You have to click on it, and you have to search for good first issues. Right, and we have like 28 good first issues. You have to click on it, and you'll end up having a list of all the issues which are beginner friendly. So as you can see, like most of them are assigned to someone or someone. So like there are some free issues too. So what you have to do is you have to let's say you want to solve, I don't know, maybe this one. So let's click on it. There you'll have a clear description of what we want from this solution, right? And you have to like go there and say like you have to. So see, like for example, this person want to contribute. So see, like this person said they want to be a contributor, and then like what we do is we assign them. Right? So for our case, we basically use a bot to assign them. So this is what we have done. Now, after choosing your issue, the very first thing you have to do is you have to set up the repo. So to set up the repo, what you have to do is every uh, repository have their own documentation that they follow. So you have to click there, and it will open the documentation for you. So there you are going to have a contribution guideline. So from there you can read up the things on how you can set things up. So for us, we have set things up locally. So let's say you want to contribute to the web, so you can just go there. You can read through how to set it up for your thing and like, run it, right? And so if they don't have a documentation on how to contribute, then there must be one README file called contributing. So you can just go there. You can like go through the whole thing. You have to read through the whole thing, like what are the guidelines do they follow for contribution? What are the practices they follow? What are the coding style they follow. And based on that, you have to do the contribution, and you can then put a PR. And as soon as you put the PR, you're going to have a discussion with them, right? So also your PR have to be very descriptive. You have to say like what you have done. You have to mention the contributor in it, right? And so this is something we have, others don't, but yeah. Then like you're gonna have a discussion with them. They're gonna ask you to do some changes. So let's, for example, if you open this one up, we have a chat going on, I suppose. Yeah. So see, for example, Rajdip has requested XYZ changes for this thing. So to do the changes and then again revert back, and this is how we go. And
So
fun
it's
part,
just like a chat thread. You can
yeah,
like
it's
chat,
a chat. Right?
normal chat.
Yes. And a fun fact, this guy is the creator of Bun, who checked this out. Yeah, I mean, if you go to his profile, see. So he made Bun. I don't think many of you know what Bun is. So Bun is a project that
So
is
yeah, so
yeah.
most of them are in first year. They have just
Oh, cool.
started learning C. So let's not
Okay.
scare them.
Okay, so I'm just
Hey.
going to give you an overview. So Bun is something that makes JavaScript fast. That's it. It's a great project. Yeah, I mean,
I
if,
think
Yeah,
if you
it's like catalyst for JavaScript.
yep, true.
you can say that, yeah.
I think the very first thing that I mean, since the motive of this session is to get people on, I mean,
Aware
you know,
about open source,
and also in
and also
Hacktoberfest.
give them hands-on little bit experience.
Yeah, exactly. So I think
I
since
think
that's
some second years are there. If they are here, you can raise your hand, right?
Okay, I have one thing to say. So
Okay,
um
second years are there.
so even if you're a first year student, I don't
Mm.
think we should baby them,
yeah,
because
exactly.
yeah, so if they don't face the issues, they won't like understand the stuff that is happening. So the best way to learn programming is to face errors. Like
Mm.
the like more errors you read, more you understand
Yeah,
the inner logics that is happening.
Mm.
So
yeah. Errors are the roadmap to great software engineer.
yeah, and
True.
so one thing I have seen in our colleges, uh, even if I talk about the teachers or the other seniors that we have, they kind of baby their juniors, so they don't want them to, face great difficulties. But I don't think that's the way we should follow. Rather, we should encourage them to tackle a big issues. So, like the bigger the issue you solve, the more you grow. So, all the first year students that you are there, I encourage you to be wild, right? Go to repo, like I know you're not gonna understand a hell lot of things, but that is how you'll grow, right? So when I even started programming, I didn't know a lot of things, right? But
Mm.
now I'm at a stage where I can literally get started with a new language within a week, right? With all
Yep.
the like design pattern and all. And even Rasul, like Rasul is an amazing developer. You can like learn a lot from him. Like he's an amazing CTO. He knows a lot about tech and he knows how to scale. So we all started as a beginner, right? We were not someone who like as a like Bachpan say we are not great at programming and stuff. So
Exactly.
it's just a exactly. So it's just a journey, and you shouldn't be scared of facing issues.
Yeah, that's the takeaway.
Source
So
code surface से दाग अच्छे हैं, we make it to errors अच्छे हैं. The more you face errors, the more you learn. Don't be
मतलब
Exactly.
afraid of
डरो
it.
मत, कूद पड़ो और शुरू कर दो.
Basically, डर के आगे
रास्ता
जीत है.
सीखते हो.
Mountain Dew.
हाँ.
Exactly, Mountain Dew.
Yes.
Okay, so let's move on to our next slide. So I think Srinjoy
Sure. Let me stop the screen sharing.
Devnath would like to talk about what are some open source events that you guys can take part in. So we will start from January, the first month, and we will gradually move on. So Srinjoy, please.
Yeah. So the first from January to May, the thing is that is the GSOC or the Google Summer of Code. The time period of January to May is a period where the selection happens. So the first half is selection of the organization or the projects that will be selected for the issues or contributions we made. The next half is collection or selection of the contributors like us. So we have to register for that, and then they will select us based on our profile, on our GitHub profile, and various other factors that they have. Till May is the selection process. After May, then you have till November, I think, where you can like contribute to that. Was it there are mentors, great mentors on the projects. You do contribution, you learn a lot. Then in May, if you are selected in GSOC, very good. If you are not, then in May there's a MLH fellowship. It is the same thing as GSOC. So there are many projects you can contribute to. Contribution gains knowledge. So that's it. And then the October comes the very famous open source event. That is a Hacktoberfest. Hacktoberfest is I think is the greatest and the most biggest open source event that you may face. So there are many projects on GitHub which contribute to the Hacktoberfest. You can contribute to them. You have to the issues as Sawan showed the process. Go to issues, you attempt it, then they assign the issue to you. You clone it, code it, and then you put a PR. If a PR is merged, then it is recorded, and the more PRs
So
you merge.
PR terminology alert. What is PR?
Oh, okay. The PR means pull request. That means you have made some changes in your code. So that change should be. I mean, I am going to show you what I mean by that local changes and remote
there is
changes.
a workshop at the end, so
Bear
you
with
guys
us.
can.
Bear with us. We are going to show what
Hands on.
happens. You make changes. Basically, let me give you a very simple idea. What happens in GitHub is it's a cloud or remote folder where all the files are stored. Now you are making a copy to your local machine of that folder, and then you're making changes to it locally. The changes that you make are stored in your local machine. Then if you want to merge it, like you want to add your changes to the main repository or the main folder where the project is going on, you give a pull request. That means your changes, you cannot directly publish your changes because you don't own or you are not you cannot access the main code directly. You have to pass through the code reviewers and they have to merge it. The managers and moderators of the repository will merge your code. So you have to give a pull request. As Sawan showed, it's a very descriptive thing or message you can say. Many repositories have a template. You have to just fill out the templates. Like Keyshades have a template. I have contributed to Keyshade, so I know they have a template, very good template. You just fill in the things that you have done, explain your changes, and you post the PR. The PR is then reviewed by the code owners and the moderators. Then, if they're satisfied, they will merge it, or if they need any changes, they will request changes.
And also you have to targeted all the organizations, those who have participated in Google Summer of Code. Like you have to first find out which organizations who are currently participating in Google Summer of Code, and
or
then
any of the other events that are talking about. So
right now we are talking about Google Summer of Code.
No, we are only on Hacktoberfest.
Also let's talk about the reward, like stipend 2 lakhs, right? 2 lakhs in Indian rupees or something per month. If you are selected for Google Summer of Code as an contributor to an organization who are participating, you will be getting 2 lakhs per month. I think Sawan, can you please talk about Google Summer of Code, Hacktoberfest, and all this?
Sure. So one small thing which I don't think many of you know. So there is a senior of ours. His name is Nikhil Agarwal. He was a Google Summer of Code participant from our college. So yeah, I mean,
you mean he was selected, right?
Yeah, he was selected.
Okay.
So if anyone wants to know like more details about the stuff, you can like reach out to him. So basically, this open source projects basically they want to encourage the contributors who are, you know, putting some good efforts to the cause. So that is why they give you a stipend kind of thing. So this stipend actually depends from organization to organization. It's not exactly 2 lakhs for all the organization. For some, it might be more. For some, it might be less. So that's the thing. But for the other thing, like you have this Hacktoberfest, right? So Hacktoberfest doesn't give any kind of monetary stipend, but more of, so they basically encourage you to do your first open source contribution. So that is the motive of Hacktoberfest. And another thing I would like to add, like, so you have added GSOC, MLH, Hacktoberfest, and KWC. But there's
Kharagpur
another,
Winter of Code from IIT Kharagpur.
yeah, and there is another event that happens at IIT Bhilai, which I was a part of when I was in my first year. So
Okay.
it's called FOSS Overflow. So I'm going to drop the link. I think
Yeah, sure.
they
Drop it.
start the thing. They start the thing from December, I suppose. It's a 2 month thing.
Yeah, I guess after WOC.
Yeah, I think it's after WOC. I mean, that's the whole overview of the things. Shinji, you can take over.
Yeah. So contributing to these events will make you learn a lot about open source contribution and how to give good pull requests, how to describe your commits. So what are the benefits? The first and foremost is learning. You can learn a lot about how a professional or industry standard code base works, how to give pull requests, and how to write conventional commit messages. Because at the start of our journey, or my journey at least, I gave very bad commit messages to my personal projects. So they were not very descriptive or very indicative of what I have changed. So you can learn how commits work or how to contribute. Basically, how to contribute effectively to any project or any other organization. The next is networking. You get to meet a lot of people. Like Rajdip said, he or you can all work with directly with the higher management. So that's a very good connection opportunity and networking opportunity. There are also other contributors who are contributing. You might have 2 or 3 contributors working on the same issue. You can talk with them, discuss with them, know their approaches, and come up with a solution together. So that's a very good networking and community building process. The next is contribution. If you contribute to a project, that means you have made a change that is recognized in that organization or in that project. That is a very thing that makes me feel good actually. Contributing to a project, that my code makes a change, so you will also feel that. So that is there. Then the career development. You get to learn a lot. I am repeating myself. I
Anyone
know.
this? He's
Famous
a
YouTuber.
YouTuber.
Famous YouTuber. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
so MKBHD. Okay, so
MKBHD.
nice. So he's saying that are there any other benefits other than what is written here? So mostly these are the benefits.
There are a lot of
these
benefits to open
are
source
enough benefits, I guess. So let's open you up for a quiz. So Srinjoy or Vaibhav, please give them the link.
Yeah, I have pinned the link.
Why are people coming now?
They want to learn.
Guys, the event was from 7. Why are people coming now? What happened to your punctuality? Don't allow anyone.
The form quiz is live for folks. Once you're done, please drop a thumbs up or +1. Yeah, Deepankar, you have any question? Or? How much time is left?
Plus 3. Okay. You guys are too excited.
20 seconds left.
20 seconds. So time is running.
Time's up or not?
Okay, time's up.
Okay. Time's up. Okay,
So moving on to the demonstration or the hands-on
let's-
session. We have learned a
let's
lot of
start
things.
the hands-on session. This will be very much beginner friendly. Don't worry. Very much beginner friendly. If you know C, that will be enough.
So I have a question. Can I ask?
Can you please ask after? Okay. You can ask.
Okay, so what are the main things we have to know before contributing in an open source? Because GitHub is compulsory, I know that. What are the other frameworks like Next.js we have to know?
No. It depends on the project you contribute. Right. If the project is using Next.js, then you need to know Next.js to contribute. If it is using any other framework or any other language, so it depends on the framework or the code base of the project you want to contribute or you are hoping to contribute.
I guess contributing to open source is like a targeted job. It can be both ways. You can first target a company, then learn the stack they used, or you can learn a stack and find a company who uses that stack. And a stack, I mean tech stack like Next.js, or for backend if they use Django or Spring Boot or Node or anything like that. Okay, so you either you learn, then you go to open source, or you go to open source, you find a company, you understand like what kind of technologies are they using, learn those technologies, go to their open source repository and contribute there. Does this resolve your doubt?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Any more doubts before the hands-on session?
Okay, so doubts, we will be having a doubt session at the last. খাতায় লিখে রাখো. Please write down in your pages your doubts.
Okay, I'm presenting.
Yes, enjoy. You can start.
Can everyone see my screen?
No.
No, we can't.
Yeah, right now.
Okay. So, here's a virtual machine I created for this session particularly. So this is a brand new machine. It does not have Git or any other thing installed. So let's start with installing Git. Most of you are working with Windows machines, I suppose, right?
Okay, guys, be collaborative. Okay.
Because I am presenting, so I cannot see the chat.
You can do this side by side.
Yeah. Of course.
You can open your computer if you have joined through your mobile.
So let's start. So that's first install Git. So you can go to Chrome and just search for Git for Windows. So the first page is the first link is the download page for Git. Choose the installer based on your architecture. Most of you will have 64-bit, but if you have 32-bit, then go for 32-bit. So I have 64-bit computer, so
I don't think so. They have 32-bit. Most of them will have 64.
Some might have old computers, you don't know.
Okay.
Just putting it out there. If you have 32-bit computer, go for 32-bit setup. It's running. So here's this setup for the license agreement. Next. You can choose the editor for Git. So I choose Notepad because I like Notepad. You can keep all the things to the default. Don't change anything if you don't know what you're changing. That's very essential. Don't touch it if you don't know what it is. Lot of steps. So now it's installing Git to our computer. Let it run through. So the Git has been installed in our machine. So how to check if Git is installed? You just open up a terminal and just write Git. So if you are getting an output like this, that means the Git has already been installed in your machine. Okay. So the first step that you do after installing Git is, if you don't have a GitHub account, make one GitHub account. So I have a GitHub account and I have logged into my profile. This account or the credentials of this account, like your name, username, and email, are what Git will use to push the commits or to publish the commits into the remote repository. So you need to add those credentials here. So the first thing, you might want to note down the commands, that is git global user domain.
We will also provide you these commands, basic commands as resources. So don't worry about it if it is confusing for you.
It is my GitHub username. So please put your own GitHub username and then the email. That's the basic configuration. Later on, we have to add our credentials again using GitHub, because Git has a Git credentials manager that will be prompted later. So let's create a repository, right? So
Yeah.
basically, what is a repository? Repository, as said, is a folder on the cloud or the remote server where it is hosted, where GitHub is hosted. So basic quick difference: Git and GitHub are not same. Git is the tool which we use to version control. So it is a version control tool which we use to track the changes that we have made so far. And GitHub is just a hosting platform. Okay, so it is a remote server that hosts Git
Yeah,
repository.
guys. And I don't think so. GitHub is open source, right?
I don't
And
think so.
if I'm wrong, you can correct me. I don't think so. GitHub is open source.
We can just Google. We are developers.
Yeah.
Google stuff.
Is GitHub open source?
No, GitHub is not open source.
Okay. So like,
So
But
it's
so
a good irony. Like GitHub,
it is not
it
open source.
helps other to get open source, but it itself is not open source.
no, but
So-
there is another platform called GitLabs, and that is open source.
Okay. So GitLab is open source, but
GitHub is
in
not.
industry, most people use GitHub. GitLab,
Not
they use
actually. So
GitLab.
there are
Yeah.
multiple things. Right? So there is another platform called Atlassian.
Atlassian, yeah.
So like they have a product called Bitbucket, I suppose. So
Yeah.
So industry-wise, they mostly use that, and there are other projects who use GitLabs, but you can find majority of the people using GitHub because it's more famous.
Just to
Yeah.
put in,
So it's a question of famous.
yeah, just to drop in, a note that there are other alternatives to GitHub, Bitbucket, and GitLab, and that are open source as well and has a nice community support. I think most of them are written in Go and Rust. Okay, I don't remember the names, but I did came across those repositories, and then it has a lot of, a huge user base. Okay, so it's worth looking into. Okay, so if you want to learn how source control works.
Yeah. So
Yeah, great.
beginners, please note this down. I
These
don't
are-
think so. This is right time to dive in. So you guys write these things down. Later on, when you have confidence enough, you guys have to dive in these repositories and what they look like. Okay. So back to Srinjay.
Yeah. So let's create a new repository. These are the repository lists I have seen, and if you are a new, then you won't have this much things. Everything will be new. So let's create a new repository. The first thing is repository name. Okay. So let's name
So
it.
give a good name, guys.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
give like
Uh,
anything casual.
Casual. So keep it to the point, or the name of your project or the name of your idea that you want to do. Okay. So I'm adding a README file, basically basic thing. It's a public repository, so there are two types of repositories in GitHub. There are public and private.
Hello,
Private
please,
means
provide them the comments.
what? Okay. The public repository means anyone can visit your account on GitHub and see the repository name there, see the repository there. And if it's private, then only you can see the names and you can commit and push and get access to the code. Public means everyone can view, access. So that's, I'm keeping it public. Then you can choose a license. If your project requires a license, then give a license. If it does not, do not, just keep it none. So that's it. You provide a name, that's compulsory. You just choose what it is public or private. You can provide a description you want. I don't. So let's create the repository. So that's it. You have just created your first repository on GitHub. It has just one file here, this readme.md, which has the title of our project.
Yeah, it's like the face of your project, readme.md.
Readme.md is the first thing that anyone would see after the code folder structure. The next thing they see is the readme.md. Here you can put the directions on how to use it or what your project is about, documentations, etc. So it is on GitHub server. How to keep it, how to take it in to a local machine? You cannot edit it here, right? You have to.
So this
code
folder
it
is
here.
on the GitHub.
GitHub
The
servers. GitHub servers.
So, yeah.
It is not in your own local machine. The first command everyone should use is git clone. Okay, and there are GUI options to GitHub. GitHub GUI is there, or other Git Kraken GUI is there. I prefer the CLI, and you should be familiarized with the CLI. So I'm doing the CLI commands here.
Yeah, because if you are not using CLI, you are not cool.
It's not like that. Preference matters.
Yeah, but yeah.
So the first thing is the git clone. So the git clone command is used to clone or make a copy of the repository in the remote servers to a local machine. The syntax is git clone, then space the link or the URL of the repository. The URL of the repository is where you can get it from. If you're in GitHub, so you can see that this is the URL of this repository. Okay. There, it is given clone using web URL. If you are using any other hosting platform, or if it is hosted on another server, so that will have their own URLs. Since I'm hosting on GitHub, I have a GitHub URL. I just copied a URL from here and I just pasted it there. So this will clone or just make a copy of this repository in my local machine. I can edit it here and change it. So we are cloning into it, and we have cloned. So what it does is it creates a folder. See, you can see there is a folder that commit together. It creates a folder with the repository name in your local machine. Okay, so we can see if I open my file explorer, you can see that here is the folder and there is a readme.md file. Exactly the same. So let's open up in VS Code and let's start coding here.
Yeah, so you won't getting this clean of a code. So for companies, you will get huge code. You have to understand that, and then you have to add your own
for
commits.
open source, you have to know where to go and where to commit. This is the first thing, you clone it.
This will be your first repo.
If you're following along.
Repo is short for repository.
So I have opened this folder in the VS Code. If you did not set up VS Code yet, or you are having problems, we will have a setup session coming on, so you can learn there. So I have my VS Code set up here, and let's start with adding a new file that is not in the remote servers. It is I am adding this file. It's, since all of you know C, let's go for hello.c. My bad, I have not installed the compiler. So it will be also a session for C compilers. Many of you have problems with setting up the Bing GW compiler.
Yeah. WinGW. You can go to MySys. MySys is good, I guess.
SourceForge is also good.
Okay. I think you can just write a hello world program and push it back.
Without running it, that's okay. I can
Hello
just,
world, everyone knows.
everyone knows how hello world looks. So.
No need to compile that.
Oh, my Copilot is working. I should have disabled it, but okay. So this is the basic C program that you are
So
getting.
you wrote something, you wrote a code, and now it's time to push it back.
We have to update it in the remote servers, right? If we keep it in
So
our
you have
machine,
edited,
no, there is no use of it. It is in our machine. It does not belong to any other. No one can else see the code. So how to check how many files you have changed? That all the changes you can see here are being recorded by Git. Okay. Any change you make, any change, it can be just a space or a new line. Any change you make in the code is recorded. Okay. So if I do a status, so this is another command. All this will be provided, so don't worry. But here is another command for a git status. What it does, it shows what are the changes that we have made or the files that we have changed. Like here is an untracked file. You can see that hello.c. So this file is present in our machine, but it is not present in a remote server. And also we have not commit to the changes.
Yeah, so give them an idea of .git folder. The hidden folder .git.
It is not showing here.
I think you guys have to do ls
Yeah, hidden
-t.
files. No.
Yeah.
We can
Okay,
show
so-
the hidden files.
So Windows
So
guys,
we can see that there is a .git folder. This folder is present for all GitHub repo or GitHub, not GitHub. Sorry, my bad. Git repositories. For all Git repositories, you will get a .git folder. It is generally a hidden folder. So it contains all the changes that we have made. It follows the changes here. There are a lot of folders and hooks that are there. Don't mess with them if you don't know what you're doing.
so you
The-
guys
but-
can play around. If you got messed up, you can just delete it.
Delete and then reinitialize it.
Yeah.
The .git folder tracks all the changes that you have made so far. Okay. So we have see, you can see that it is in red. Why it is red? It is red because we have not committed to the changes. What committing is you are taking full responsibility of this.
I guess
changes.
adding staging.
No, that is git add. First we have to commit, git add and commit. Okay. So we have to change all. We have to stage the changes. Or we have to add the changes that we have made these changes. Okay. You have to commit. You have to take responsibility for all of your changes that you have made and give a message which will describe the changes that you have made. So the first thing after you have changed is git add. You have to add all the 4 files. You can add it one by one by using the git add, then the file name, or you can add all by doing -a. It adds all the files that you have changed. Now, if I do a git status, it shows the new file, unstaged. No files to unstaged. It is green. That means you have staged the changes. That means it is ready to commit.
Sringer, so basically what happened, like it was not in the git folder. And when you use the command git add, it
-a
added the
-a
folder.
control.
Git used its magic and put it in the .git folder.
So the .git folder now has an idea, or the Git knows what you have done. It has tracked the full file. And here, yes, this file was added and these many lines have been changed.
And now Git knows, like I have to now take care of this file. Like if it changes, then I I have to know?
Reflect the changes. If I made any changes here, then it will show. Then I have to add it again, and then you have to commit. Commit means to give a title or description of the changes made so far. Commits are the history points, right? Okay, so the what we have talked about so far is version or the changes, tracking the changes. When we commit, it adds like a note. Uh, if you imagine a long list of changes or a timeline,
Long string with
you have seen the
nuts.
timeline. You have seen the timeline right now, right? The change, the January to May, then May to October, then November, right? The timeline. So you can imagine the timeline as a history. The topmost commit is the latest commit, and the last commit, the bottommost commit, is the first commit. So this shows all the history, all the tracks that you have made. So if I right now I have to commit the file to add it, to git commit, then you have to give a message. The dash m refers to the message.
Also,
And you give a message.
Savanda, any talks about the message part? People mess up their.
Yeah, commit message is very conventional.
Okay, so you have to use a conventional commit message. So what does that mean? Conventional commit message means that the maintainer should know just from the commit message that what is the work that you have done. Yeah, exactly. So if you see the comment section, Rajdip has put a link. If you open that, you can read all about conventional commit messages and how it is done. So yeah, I mean, conventional commit message is something that you have to do, and that is something that will separate you from other uh, newbie developers who are contributing to open source. So yeah.
Okay, so Savanda, one question. What should be the conventional commit message for this file? I have added a new file. What should be the
Okay.
conventional commit message?
Yeah, so you can or people kind of like add in the comment box. What should be our message?
Then
Yeah,
Savanda
okay,
will give the conventional
Yeah.
terms for it.
Guys, I'm expecting you guys to be a bit interactive because it feels like you guys are sleeping.
Guys, think
And then
what should be the message you will give to properly convey that what you have changed. Okay.
कुछ नहीं तो चैट में लिख दो भाई.
हाँ भाई चैट में लिख दो. Yeah, can be.
Okay. Okay, see, I understand
no
that
more. I think
it's a rainy season, the weather is cold, you might be sleepy, but I
having
don't think
tea and
this is
pakoda.
yeah, having tea and pakoda, but I don't think this is how you can learn and grow. Because I mean, you all have hopes of getting a like, great job and like working with a great team, and like you guys are in your second and first year, so you guys are feeling ki, okay, for your boss. It's easy, but it's not that easy. Trust me. Like the IITians are getting 4 lakh jobs, and the 4 lakhs jobs are not good. So I want you guys to be a bit interactive. Otherwise, when you'll be in your third or fourth year, you will face some consequences which I don't think you guys want to face.
So, Savanda, what should be the conventional commit here?
Okay, so for this, what we have done is we have made a feature, right? That is to print a new
Line.
program. Yeah. So what we are going to do is we're going to write FEAT. FEAT means teacher.
Teacher.
Yes. So usually we write a scope, but I don't think we are going to have any scope here. But still, for the sake of the demo, we're going to write a scope of main. So main means like what this means is what is the scope of change. So let's say you have fixed, let's say you have worked on style. Like let's say you have added a new style to your React app, right? So for that, the scope will be style, and the heading will be feature. But here we are gonna use the main as
Main.
the scope because this is what we're like. This is where we're working right now.
Yes.
Now
So
then we have to put colon, and after the colon we have to write a very short and descriptive message of what we have done. And now this is a message where you have to like take care of your grammar. So you can't just write key I added and stuff. So what you have to do is add uh, add std out hello world maybe.
see it out hello.
Hello.
So that's a conventional commit message right there. That's
Yeah,
how we
so-
commit to open source projects.
Yes. So basically, me as a maintainer, whenever I'll see the PR with this commit message, I'll understand that what is the thing that you have changed and what is the thing that you have done. Is it a feature that you have had? Is it a bug that you have solved? If you have solved a feature, if you have like made a new feature or solved a new bug, so what kind of bug was it? What was the scope of that bug? And what bug was it that you have solved? So this is what gives a clarity to the maintainer. So this is when you should like write conventional commit messages.
Conventional
And
messages.
yeah, so and this conventional commit messages paradigm was basically invented by Angular, like the team of Angular. So if you go there and if you like search for conventional commit messages Angular, then you'll like get their readme file for all this.
Okay, moving on. So this was the message that we are giving, the conventional commit message. Okay, so I have to commit it. Enter, then. You have seen. So this was the message that we have given, and it shows one file changed, 5 insertions. So what does it mean? One file change means how many files you have worked on. Since we have worked on only on one file, so it's showing one file change. And 5 insertions means you have added 5 lines of code or 5 lines of code. I have added 5 lines of code, so it is giving 5 insertions. So we have added 5 insertions to the one file that we have changed. What was the file name? It was hello.c. So it's committed. We have added the file, we have committed the file, but it is still not in our repository.
Yeah, so many people get confused by commit and push. Commit means you have committed. That means it's a snapshot that you want to keep. If anything wrong happens, you can roll back to that commit, or you can like delete that commit. You can like play with that commit. Okay, so commit is like a snapshot of the code that you want Git to be saved as a history.
So up till this point, the point that you've committed will be saved as a node or as a history. It is the history. This commit is one of the histories. You can come back to it if anything happens in the next one. So it is tracked in our local machine. Our local machine knows that there was an initial commit here, right? So you can see that one commit, initial commit, that was from the remote server. And now we have added the feed main add shout std out hello world. This commit, this is saved in, if I go for git status, see what it says. Your branch is ahead of origin main by one commit. That means you have moved one commit in a local machine, but it is not yet updated with the remote. The remote server is where, so the GitHub server is the remote server. There you have to make the changes, right? For others to see. This is for you to see. You can see the changes that you have made and you have stored a history. If I then add another file and I again commit it, it will be saved to me. For me, it is not updated. So to update it, what you have to do? So Git has suggested to use a git push. Let's use git push. What git push does, it literally pushes the changes or the commits that you have made. If you have made multiple commits before pushing, then all the commits will be pushed in chronological order. Like if you have made another commit after that, then it will be this commit, then that commit. In the history, you can see all the commits that you have pushed. It pushes the commits to the remote server. So now I have to give my credentials to Git or to connect to GitHub. Since it is a GitHub repository, I have to connect to GitHub. You see the changes? Relation here.
GitLab, you have to connect with GitLab and so on. So forth.
Yes, you have to. It depends on a remote server, what credentials they require. Since it is a GitHub repository, it requires my GitHub credentials. So I have to sign in from my browser. Okay, so since I have logged in, so it was logged in to my Git credentials. Now you can see that counting objects 100% or so, it was pushed. You can see here writing objects then to HTTPS. You can see it was pushed to this URL. This was a URL that we cloned, right? So this was also stored here. Where was the remote repository? I mean that where was the origin of the repository? Okay. Since I made or created the repository in GitHub, the origin of the repository is in the GitHub servers. So the origin is the GitHub URL with which I cloned it. Now, if I come here and I refresh it, you can see hello C is there. Okay, and this is the commit message that we have given. And if you want to see the history, there are 2 commits. You can see this was the initial commit. Then this was the commit that we made from our local machine. So this is the basic thing that you have, that you need to know to use Git and GitHub. For open source, you have to learn a bit more intermediate features of Git, like branching, then merging, etc. So those
are little bit intermediate topics in Git.
I would recommend learning them after you're familiar with the basic concepts like push, pull, commit, add, status, merge, not merge. So these things, the basic commands of Git.
So this was the basic workshop of Git.
Yeah. So I hope after this workshop, you know how to create your own repository, clone a repository to a local machine, make the changes, stage the changes, and finally add them, commit them, and push them to the remote repository. Don't forget to push.
And side note, you guys can learn branching because it is important. If you want to contribute, then you should learn branching, or you can talk to us. We can help you learn it out. Due to time constraint, we have only showed you the basics.
Yeah. If we started on making for the intermediate concepts, then you will be overwhelmed. Actually, there are many concepts, advanced concepts for Git. You will get overwhelmed, and this will not be any of use. So learn the basics, then go for the intermediate and advanced concepts. Git has a lot of other advanced commands and concepts.
I guess you can come to the PPT and like show them the commands.
Yeah, I am now closing the window and stopping my share, so you can show the PPT. Is the PPT visible, or I think I need?
Yeah, it is visible. I think you can go on.
Okay. So the first command is a git init. So I didn't show it because I made the repository in the GitHub servers. If you are making a GitHub, I mean, if you're initializing a repository in your local machine, like you have not created it in the GitHub repository, in the GitHub servers.
Like if you are the creator of your own repo, like it's nowadays people don't do that much. Git init command, they create their repo on the, means this command runs on the GitHub remote
servers.
server.
Yeah.
This command runs, but in the remote server, not on your local machine.
So what it does is it creates the .git folder that I showed. The .git folder is the thing that, or the folder that tracks all the changes that you have made so far. And it also tracks which is the latest commit and what is the state. I mean, the project will always be at the latest commit state, right? The latest changes, all the changes that you have made. So that is called the head. So I'm not going for that, but these are the terms you can see. Then is a git add command. The add command that I have shown, you can use the file name one by one, add the file name and folder name for adding, or you can use the -a annotation, which will add all the changes that you have made to staging it. It will stage all the changes. Like, yeah, I have done all these changes. Then, as I've shown, the git commit message, it lets you write the commit. It will commit the changes. So Git knows what to say, right? What the title of the of this history will be. The commit message is the title of the history or the snapshot of this, of the changes that you have made. And then lastly, it is git push. So it will push all the changes and commits you made to the remote servers where the repository is hosted. Git clone that I have shown for making the changes, making a copy of the remote repository in your local machine. Hence git pull.
And I
Git
don't
pull.
think so. People, you guys are having headache like this or what?
Yeah. If you have any problems, please feel free to ask.
Are you feeling like this?
If you are, then ask questions.
Okay, so now
wait
this
for
is the
the
final
questions.
question. I think this is the final quiz. This is the final quiz. Wrap up quiz. Time will be little bit more.
Yeah, this will be a very good.
Okay,
I have pinned the message. You can see.
I think Rajdip have a call from 9, so he have to leave. I will be dropping his portfolio. You can guys connect with him. Okay.
So I have pinned the I think it is time to start. Vaibhav, check the time.
So this is Rajdip Das portfolio. I have pinned it. You guys can come and check.
Also drop Sawandas also.
Yeah.
Previous quiz.
Share the right link.
Yeah.
The final. Wait, guys, wait.
It's showing closed.
Which one?
The final quiz is showing closed.
Share the fourth one.
Fourth one. Vaibhav, can you please share the fourth one? I think there is a problem. So don't panic, guys. Don't make your faces like this.
Yeah. Vaibhav is sharing the fourth one.
Just a minute, guys.
Sorry for the mistake.
Okay, I've shared it. Everyone, try it now. How much time should we give them? What do you say?
It's 7 questions, right?
Yeah,
Give them
4
10 minutes.
minutes enough.
Not 4 minutes.
That too much, I think.
Okay, it's a MCQ, so 4 minutes, 5 minutes is enough.
Vaibhav, time update.
2 minutes left.
Okay. भाई चैट जीपीटी मत करना, बहुत मारूंगा.
Hey, Prabhu, don't be violent.
I'm sorry.
नहीं नहीं, अच्छे से चैट जीपीटी करके दो, किसी को प्राइस नहीं मिलेगा.
If you guys try to use chat GPT, then we will know.
अब कैसे we will know, सोचते रह जाओ, ठीक है.
Yeah, we got some good developers, right? So I think we have figured out a way. स्पेशली वो लोग जो एकदम लास्ट के 5 मिनट्स में ज्वाइनिंग हुए. भाई क्या कर रहे थे? बारिश हुआ, पकोड़े लेके सो गए थे क्या?
They might have internet problems.
No, someone just joined.
Yeah, the event was from 7.
Okay,
I
guys,
think
30 seconds left.
30 seconds, yeah. रिस्पॉन्स आ रहा है वैभव?
हाँ, आ तो रहा है.
ठीक है, नाइस. इस क्विज से पता चल जाएगा कितना लोग एक्टिव हैं. 200 जन रजिस्टर किया था.
Okay, the quiz is closed now.
Okay, so thank you guys. If you have any question, please feel free to ask. You can open your mic and talk, or you can drop a comment. We will be happy to address your problems. Anyone?
See, you guys are beginners, right? And I'm pretty sure you guys have questions. So you can just
Feel free
ask.
to
You
ask.
don't
Feel free to ask.
Just feel free. You all are like brothers and sisters. Please ask.
Let me share a small thing that, especially for those who are not asking anything, that is, we are doing these sessions and everything just for you guys, so that only you guys are benefited. Okay, so it's not like we get any commission or something like that. It's only for you guys, because when we were in your place, our seniors did that for us, and just like that, we are doing this for you. And we wanted to host this session in offline mode, but there were a lot of problems, so we hosted it online mode. So the thing is, this is for you guys. Okay, so if you guys don't respond, or you guys don't learn anything from it, or you guys don't interact, it's at the end of the day your loss. Okay, so
Okay, good question. Git push and git commit. What commit does is it creates a history. Like if you were taking a picture of it, the state of the project that it is after you have committed, the final state after adding all your changes. Git sort of, you can analyze it like it clicks a picture of how it is after adding your changes to the project. Okay, so that it stores as a note that I have shown, like the initial commit, then the fit, main, add, std, hello world. So those were the titles, and the points were the like the pictures. Git has taken a picture of the state of the project as it is after adding your changes. What Git push does it updates the remote server with the changes in that you have made in the local machine. Okay, so it refreshes or synchronizes both the remote machine as well as the local machine. It synchronizes them.
Any
Srinjay,
more questions?
I'd like to add something.
Yeah, go ahead.
So let me tell you guys a small incident that happened to Disney. Like, so this was the time before version controlling system ever existed. So what happened is they were working on a project, and so that time they used to use a centralized version controlling system. Right. So basically, when like whatever change you have to do, you have to like do it on that machine, and that machine will only have all the copies of the project. Right. So what happened is somehow the hard disk of the machine got corrupted, and they lost the whole project itself. And like losing a project is $1 billion business. Like you can like lose billions for that. Fortunately, there was one guy who had downloaded it locally, and that's how they recovered it back. So, uh, to solve this kind of issues, Git came into the picture. So, what it allows you to do is that every one, like every person who is a contributor, can have the whole copy of the project in the machine. So, just like that, we also have a centralized system so that like everyone can interact. That is uh like that is basically like for our case that is GitHub, and you might be using GitLab or something else. So GitHub is also another node amongst like all of us. So GitHub is also another client just like you, me, and other contributors that are there. So Srinjay said that Git commit is more like clicking a snapshot. I won't say it's exactly like that because snapshot is something that is different. Commit means that you're attesting that the changes you have made is something you're confirmed. That you won't be making any other changes to the current changes you have done. And that is the final changes. Right? And what this push does is it pushes the code from your machine to the uh, hosted cloud machine that is there so that everyone else can also see the changes you have made and can work with it. So I think that is a difference, and I think this should give you a bit of a clarity on why we use Git and why we have these two commands.
Beautifully explained, Sawan. I hope it answers your queries. Sure.
Ask questions,
Hello.
guys. Yeah.
Yeah, so I had a question that say I'm learning JavaScript. So someone showed us how once we found out the organization, we can easily see if they have good first issues. But is there a way that before we find out an organization, we can know which projects have good first issues?
Yeah, so there are some websites to figure out what are the good
I will
first
be
issues.
dropping some GitHub repo links. So those are like good. You can go and contribute.
Yeah, so there is a website called Good First Issue. So you can just go there and figure out some good first issues that are there for other that are there for the projects.
I see, I see. Thank you very much.
Yes. Yep.
No more questions there. Everyone understood everything.
I mean, if you guys don't have any questions, we can just have a small discussion, like on
Yeah.
any kind of questions you have in general regarding college, regarding like how to grow and all.
How about this? You can ask a question in Q&A section and put yourself as anonymous. Okay. If you have you are ultra introvert.
Yeah, like if you're a shy person and like you have some stupid questions, like see, none of the questions are stupid. Like
No questions
if
are
you,
stupid questions.
yeah, but still, if you feel like that this is something that might make you feel stupid, you can just use that option. And by the way, I think there must be a language barrier that you guys have. I don't think like a lot of you are very good at English, I suppose.
After learning C, which language I should learn for spoken source? So,
See, if you're brave enough, if you're crazy enough, right, you can straight up go and contribute to Linux. Right? If you really feel like you know C, because low-level memory management is not a joke.
you know,
Right? They are difficult, my friend. They're very difficult. So if you really feel like that you're someone who knows C, you like you're like in a state of contributing to other languages, then you can definitely go to the Linux's repo and like, start contributing. But I mean, you have to decide like what interests you the most. Let's say you are someone who is more of into web development and stuff. So then you can see what to contribute to. You can contribute to some backend projects or some front end project. Right? If you think you are someone in the blockchain, so first you have to read a lot. Right? You have to like read the white paper, read the specifications and all and all. Then you can like start contributing to those projects. So, for example, you have Nimbus, you have Besu, Constantine. There is a project called Constantine which is on cryptography. You can contribute to those.
basically, it depends on the project or the repository you want to contribute. Based on their code base and tech stack, you need to learn the languages accordingly.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it
It's
is an
already
appropriate time to start learning.
10 minutes
Another doubt
past
is
9.
there.
No, Prabhuda, I think let's keep this call going for a while. If anyone wanna drop out, they can drop out. But I think they need a platform to ask like interact with the seniors.
Okay,
Like,
sure. Where
contact
people
me.
should connect. I think CodeTogether. You can join CodeTogether, right?
Yeah, you guys can join CodeTogether, or if you wanna like
Uh,
reach out to me, you can DM me on LinkedIn, and please throw a message लिख देने के लिए I'm from like Narula and I wanna discuss and stuff because I'm getting a lot of connection requests these days because like we are hiring, so I might reject your invitation, like the connection invitation. So yeah, I mean if you guys mention that, it will be better.
You mentioned that you are from Narula and you want to.
in your LinkedIn profile, just mention your education, where you are taking from. If there is Narula, then he will sure accept your invitation.
Yeah, and please do mention that like you guys have like attended this event of CodeTogether. So
Yeah.
I'll know like how did you like
And
get to know?
Sawan is active in CodeTogether group, so you can just ask, drop any question there also. He will ask. He will answer that.
Yeah. But I'm here in this call, so like you can just keep it open and we can have a discussion. I mean, if
Sure,
anyone
if
of the
I will
Yeah.
stop the recording now, then
sure, you can stop the recording.